We all experience moments when negative thoughts start creeping in, planting seeds of doubt and insecurity in our minds. This nagging voice questions our abilities, worth, and decisions, and can be incredibly disruptive, impacting all aspects of our lives. If left unchecked, these mental patterns can spiral into anxiety, lack of motivation, and even depression. I know this struggle all too well. There were times when I felt consumed by negative self-talk and crippling self-doubt. It was a constant battle to silence the inner critic and regain my confidence. But then, I discovered the profound teachings of Stoicism. This ancient Greek philosophy provided me with powerful strategies to overcome these challenges. As Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, wisely stated, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This realization was transformative for me. I began to understand that my negative thoughts were not facts, but mere interpretations that I had the power to change. Today, I want to share these timeless Stoic principles to help you deal effectively with negative thoughts and self-doubt. By the end of this exploration, you will be equipped with practical tools and insights to confront these inner battles head-on, reclaiming your inner peace and confidence. This is not a passive experience. Stay engaged, reflect on these lessons, and actively apply them daily. True transformation occurs through knowledge, consistent action, and practice. With that, let us begin our exploration of the Stoic way of overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt, guided by the wise words of Marcus Aurelius. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. We must first understand the nature and impact of negative thoughts and self-doubt to deal with them effectively. As Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wisely stated, "It is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things." Negative thoughts are not inherently bad or wrong. Our minds create interpretations based on our experiences, beliefs, and conditioning. However, when left unchecked, these thoughts can spiral, distorting our perception of reality and undermining our sense of self-worth. For instance, consider a situation where you made a mistake at work. A negative thought might arise, such as, "I'm so incompetent. I'll never succeed in this job." This thought, however, is not a fact, but a judgment colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The impact of such negative self-talk can be far-reaching. It can affect our motivation, decision-making, and overall well-being. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Persistent negative thoughts can drain our energy, cloud judgment, and influence our physical health. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea that our thoughts shape our reality. Epictetus wisely stated, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This profound insight holds the key to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt. By changing our perspective, we can transform our experience. Let's revisit the example from the previous chapter where you made a mistake at work, and a negative thought arose, labeling you as incompetent and doubting your ability to succeed. This thought is not a fact, but a subjective interpretation colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The Stoics would encourage us to reframe this thought by adopting a more objective and rational perspective. Instead of criticizing ourselves, we could view the mistake as a learning opportunity to identify areas for improvement and growth. We could remind ourselves that mistakes are an inevitable part of the human experience, and that even the most accomplished individuals have faced setbacks and failures throughout their journeys. By reframing our perspective, we can transform a negative thought into a constructive one, shifting our mindset from self-doubt to self-compassion and resilience. But the Stoics didn't just preach theoretical ideas, they offered practical wisdom rooted in real-life examples. One such example comes from the life of Seneca, the famous Stoic philosopher and advisor to the Roman Emperor Nero. In one of his letters, Seneca recounts a story of a friend deeply troubled by a nightmarish vision he had experienced. Seneca advised his friend to focus on reality rather than being consumed by his imagination, saying, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." Like Seneca's friend, we often allow our negative thoughts and fears to spiral out of control, creating imagined scenarios that cause unnecessary suffering. By grounding ourselves in reality and adopting a more objective perspective, we can break free from the grip of these distorted thoughts. One of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy is the principle of focusing our energy and attention on what we can control, rather than wasting time and energy agonizing over things beyond our influence. Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is compelling when dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt. While we cannot always control the initial thoughts that arise, we can control how we respond to them. Do we allow them to spiral, fueling our self-doubt and anxiety, or do we consciously shift our focus to what is within our control? Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work, and feelings of self-doubt and negative thoughts begin to surface. "I'm not good enough. I'll never advance in this company. I'm a failure." While it's understandable to feel disappointed, dwelling on these negative thoughts and ruminating over the situation will only breed more negativity and disempowerment. Instead, the Stoic approach would focus on what you can control: your reaction, your mindset, and your next steps. You might reframe the situation by acknowledging that while the outcome was not what you hoped for, it does not define your worth or capabilities. You can respond with resilience, using the experience as motivation to identify areas for growth and development. Additionally, you can focus on what is within your control, such as updating your skills, seeking feedback from mentors, or exploring new opportunities within or outside the company. Thus far, we've discussed powerful Stoic principles for reframing negative thoughts, focusing on what's within our control, and cultivating an empowered mindset. However, the Stoics understood that lasting inner transformation requires more than intellectual understanding. It demands consistent practice and the cultivation of specific mental habits. One such practice is the Stoic concept of negative visualization, known as premeditatio malorum, which involves contemplating potential adversities to prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally for challenges. Contrary to fostering negativity, this practice builds resilience and helps us appreciate what we have. As Seneca wisely advised, "Rehearse them in your mind. Exile, torture, war, shipwreck, all the terms of our human lot should be before our eyes." Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, regularly journaled his thoughts, reflections, and insights in his famous work, Meditations. By putting our thoughts and emotions into words, we can gain clarity, identify patterns, and shift our perspective. Another practical Stoic exercise is to periodically embrace voluntary discomfort. This might involve fasting, taking cold showers, or temporarily giving up certain comforts. As Seneca emphasized, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself all the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" By intentionally exposing ourselves to discomfort, we build mental and emotional fortitude, diminishing the power of negative thoughts and self-doubt in our daily lives. While the Stoic philosophy emphasizes self-discipline, resilience, and rationality, it also encourages us to practice self-compassion and acceptance. The Stoics understood that we are all imperfect human beings who make mistakes and face setbacks. As Epictetus wisely stated, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This quote reminds us that self-improvement involves acknowledging our imperfections and treating ourselves with kindness and understanding. Negative thoughts and self-doubt are universal human experiences, but we don't have to let them define us. By embracing the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, we can develop practical strategies to overcome these challenges and cultivate a more resilient, empowered, and compassionate mindset. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." By changing our perspective, focusing on what we can control, building resilience through Stoic practices, and embracing self-compassion and acceptance, we can transform our thoughts and our lives. I encourage you to reflect on these principles and incorporate them into your daily life. Stay engaged, practice consistently, and approach your inner battles with the wisdom and resilience of a Stoic. True transformation is a journey that requires patience, commitment, and practice. But by applying these timeless teachings, you can overcome negative thoughts and self-doubt, reclaim your inner peace, and confidently navigate life's challenges. As we conclude this exploration, take a moment to revisit the negative thought or self-doubt you identified earlier. Reflect on the Stoic principles and practices discussed in this guide, and consider how you can apply them to reframe your perspective. Focus on what you can control, build resilience, and embrace self-compassion. Remember, you have the power to transform your thoughts and ultimately your life. Stay committed to this journey of self-improvement and let the wisdom of the Stoics guide you toward a more empowered and fulfilling life.